I do hope that isn't contagious.
You do not belong here. We are the dead.
Maybe you're dead. I do not see Tangaloa's mouth or Sirono's doors anywhere.
My storm wreathes Pococahara. Ngati's fist drags Valiant ships to the deep. If you come to stop this, you have already failed. Akira, and your ancient soul will help the gust flourish into a gale. Ngati holds our souls in this swamp, cut off from the sea. The flow of essence stops here.
And rots, apparently.
The cistern overflows into the world of the living, stirring the sea and skies with the fury of the goddess, bringing storms. The gods laugh at machines, I say. Nothing built of kith hands can wrest away their will. No souls travel through here. The Adra screams. Ngati grins, showing her fangs. This is where Valiant's scheming ends. Ngati's servant holds the dam closed to flood the living world with her vengeance. Their ships also sink when the winds tip them over. Akira, I am the storm of my people. Adra is the staff I wave to churn Ngati's kingdom.
Compensating, are we?
You will not laugh when I scatter your soul to the breeze.
Madiko, to arrive at the far side of death and find this babbling brook.
The Valians will not overrun us while I have the strength to repel them. Fool! Ngati will stop churning the seas when the outsiders leave. Then I will be reborn as a Ranga. Pirates and slavers drove my tribe from our old roots and havens. Now, the Valians do the same with paper. They come to pull Adra from the earth and mill it like grain.
Talk on, Plankenet. You have your story and I have mine.
There is nothing more to say. Here at the end, outsider lies are a dull edge. Coin is their only language, I say. Reason and compassion are bitter to their tongues. This is where all things stop. No one leaves, I say.
Akosi, let's not be hasty. Some of us still have bodies out there. You don't plan on staying here, Ak? Why not let us tag along and see if we can reunite with our... You're not lying, are you? You've all served your captain with distinction. But I think this is where we part ways. Dismissed.
You'd better run!
Sorry, friend. I can't.
Missed. Get to our end!
Ready when you are. No problem.
Take this! Can't make a dent!
Still got it.
No problem.
I'll have this open in no time.
That'll do it. Consider it.
An old salt swaggers in with a ship's wheel sticking out of his pants.
It's driving him nuts?
New swabby be asking a first mate. Do galleys like this be sinking often?
Usually it's just the ones. Even Ishi knows that one.
The Ranga Nui leads us, but he represents all.
Good to see you again.
You look like you've come with a...
I'm telling you.
It's impossible to cheat at Hazatoa.
He acts like he's gonna do one thing, then he does something.
Clear skies. How do you mean that? Are you making advances at me? While I'm not opposed to casual assignation, if that changes, I promise you'll be the first to know. Excellent. My reports confirm a certain amount of confusion in Queen's birth. Nevertheless, I'm more interested in reports the storms around the islands have cleared. Fascinating. And most encouraging. You've proven most valuable. Accept this as a small token of our gratitude. We'd long suspected something unnatural was behind the storms, but we had little evidence. Yes, if the storms that assail Rawatai have a similarly unnatural origin, then perhaps they too can be stopped. And if that's the case, then there's more work to be done. Work that you might be able to help with. After all, if you're going to make friends in the DEADFIRE, you might as well choose the ones with the biggest cannons. In any case, Hazanui Karu has a matter that could use your help. Her office is on the main floor behind the large double doors. It's most conspicuous.
That's called strategy. And don't you work for Atsura?
Atsura tells me you tamed the storms of Pococohara. And I'm thinking you didn't accomplish that by whispering arcane gibberish, or whatever it is you used to do. Makes a person wonder what kind of secrets lie in Andra's mortar. Don't tell me you've never gazed at a horizon and wondered at what lies beyond. Or seen a no trespassing sign as a challenge? That's the spirit. Rautai's storms have made us who we are as a nation. Hardy, driven, inventive. But they've also held us back. Forced our people to seek resources and livelihoods far from our homes and families. Imagine how much more we could achieve if we could control those storms. Why not? The storms there cannot be natural. Not when they are so ferocious, so constant. And your exploits at Pococohara suggest that something else may be behind them. But enough of that for now. There's an understatement. The trouble in Hasango forced us to send additional ships back to Rawatai to make up for shortfalls. And storms at home have delayed another portion of our fleet. This leaves us short-handed here. I have no doubt. We're due to collect a special shipment for delivery to our port at Sayuka. We've contracted with a captain named Widla. Meet her, complete the trade, and take the cargo to Sayuka. She's one of the brightest minds in Rawatai, and it shows. You two will get along. Most of her work is, or should be, under wraps for now. But perhaps... let's just say, I'm not keen to invite them to a port where we're developing experimental technologies.
Will to be flying Principe colors. On occasions, she ain't flying force. One of the young bloods.
Along with half the population of this storm-tossed archipelago. It'll be easier for Okaya to explain. Widla's agreed to meet our courier out at sea, away from the heaviest traffic. This is her payment. We've already negotiated with her. Fleet Master Okaya will see to your compensation once you arrive with the cargo. This is the kind of job that's best completed quickly and quietly. I'm counting on your famous discretion. Clear skies.
Time I ship out with some soft hand.
I take it the Hazanui runs a tight ship. Do you ever disagree?
And I bark about it until the boss tells me to stand down.
You Rawatayans aren't much for passive aggression, are you?
So you're the commander of the Iron Flail?
Were you looking to enlist?
Blessing of Aethys upon you.
May Aethys' light shine upon you. It is the light that has led you here. We tried. Shipped some shares for charity. God, it's nearly 2 years back. Had the means to do some real good. But the guards wouldn't have it. Sent it all to the palace to be shared out, proper-like. Never did see it again. Of course, we'd be glad to lend a hand. But how'll you see our shares reach the Ruparu this time? What makes you think it'll work now when it didn't then? All right. You wind up in the good graces of the Kahanga Royals, you get them to see the light, and I'll get you our food. Uh-huh. How might I help you now?
Blessing of Aethys upon you.
I'd be half worried about our friends from the Reach, Maya.
They were doing fine without him.
Say it though. Please, your wrist, the bit's getting all clogged up.
Ah, we can only watch and pray they help themselves.
Ah, good, you're back. I hope you had a pleasant voyage. Ah, before you get too far on the way, I think you ought to come with me. Director Castol will want to hear from you in person.
Alvari tells me you are kind enough to look into this business on Pococahara for us. I hope you bring good news.
Yet another sizable investment lost to the desert winds.
It is unfortunate, but the risk was always there. There will be other opportunities. The expedition itself. Beza and her people. What happened there? A sorry end for such dedicated individuals. How very fortunate that you lived to tell their tale. I believe I can take things from here, Alvari. Agrasima. The Watcher and I have more business to discuss. Oh, and do pay the man for his trouble first. I apologize. Right to business with no real introduction, no? I am Ignato Castol, director of the Valiant Trading Company's operations here in the DEADFIRE. I thought it best I speak with you face to face. Watchers are not so numerous here in the DEADFIRE, especially those of such storied backgrounds as yourself. I'd read much about your exploits alongside the Crucible Knights in Defiance Bay. Their little experiments. And I think that we are, each of us, in a position to offer each other something that we cannot find elsewhere. The Valiant Trading Company has had a presence on this island for nearly a century now. We have the greatest fleet on the seas, the support of the richest men and women in the world. What can the Royal DEADFIRE Company offer? A soldier's wages, so that you can elevate the fortunes of a distant king and the queen? A place in the Kahanga tribe among all the rest of these neglected people. You've lived outside the caste system all these years. Are you eager to return to it? I can give you money, fame, certainly. But the men and women of the company, we set our aims high. And if I only wanted to offer you work as an Adra inspector, I would have let Alvari deal with you. The Valiant Trading Company has maintained an outpost here in Nekataka for nearly a century now. It was only 2 years ago that we discovered the effects of Luminous Adra with the aid of our animancers and several watchers. Flaune Alette has continued to study the potential of Luminous Adra in all manner of advances. Why content ourselves to sell all this Adra as a luxury when we might use it to change the world? But of course you understand all of this. Alette sent word of your involvement in her latest experiment. A very dramatic first attempt, I hear. Though, Alette has a tendency to gloss over details. But, I want to hear it from you. How did it go? You'll put the priest into a frenzy with talk like that. Communion with the gods is their business. A near-death experience does little to recommend Alette's efforts. I am glad you are in one piece, Watcher. We are in the early days of Alette's research. Flawed as this outing was, there is promise there. This is only the start, you know. The very dawn of a new age of discovery. But just imagine. Imagine if we could transport goods and people more quickly than any vessel or horse. Cure every kind of ailment. Perhaps cure disease altogether. We'll extend our lifespans by decades, maybe even centuries one day. This has all been the work of a single outpost. I want there to be a dozen outposts, 100. Animancers working together to better our lives. Look at what we have left behind. Old Valia is a battlefield at constant war with itself. But the republics have risen from that past. we can rise farther still. And in doing so, we will raise all of Aora with us. Yes, but achievable, I think. I may not live to see it, but I will see the groundwork done. But I've said enough. Too much, I think. There will be more experiments to come. Until then, I have a more grounded task I need assistance with. Nothing that should put your spirit in any danger. Nekataka sees its share of smuggling. I doubt that would surprise anyone. But we've learned of a particular exchange that will... There is a Royal Deadfire Company official by the name of Quarno who has been meeting in secret with one of the Principi. I do not believe he works with the approval of his masters. He meets with a Captain Tola, a known pirate and smuggler. I hope I don't have to tell you that an alliance between a crooked royal official and the Principi is not the kind of trouble any of us need. I have a woman, Britza, waiting in the luminous bathhouse in Periki's Overlook. The smugglers do business there, and she has kept an eye on things. I promise to send assistance. Find her, and she will tell you what she knows. Telling you amounts to much the same, no? Someone has to put a stop to things.
Good thing that someone is us. Rauatine black powder is worth its weight in Adra out here.
Of course. Best to go in prepared. The discipline of the royal officers isn't really what any of this is about. I'm more concerned about the pirates. In this particular case, the companies share an enemy. A fine Valian woman. Steady temperament. Good sense. The bathhouse sees an enormous number of patrons every day. It is a useful place to have a set of eyes and ears on hand. Only that Tola is a captain of middling repute and some small ambition. I expect she feels that a partnership with Quarno will give her an edge. Britza will know more. Excellent. Meeting you has been a stroke of luck, Watcher. I'll await your report.
What business brings you to my mill? Ha! And it is good for the heart. The Adra belongs to the Valiant Trading Company. If you insist. Your price is 2,000 copper. We only sell it by the crate. How many shall I book you for? You want to trade with the grown-ups? You pay grown-up prices. If you don't have the coin, too bad. Your price is 2,000 copper. That will be 12,000 copper. It is a rare pleasure to meet someone whose coin purse is as large as their... Good day.
I see you brought your pain, but you nae come to ease it. Pity. It eases my pain. More'n I fecht in the broken stone war some 2 centuries gone by now. I left the woods of a deer for the eastern reach. I claimed to seek to protect our colonists, but in truth, I sought the glory of battle. Glory were nae to be had. Truth be telt, I hold luckier than most. The Orlands o' Ayr Glanfath walded blades that sheaved spirit as easily as flesh. Some of mine fellas were slaughtered body and soul. One weird o' the will of the gods one. She and her man devised us a braw and gusty feast. The Glanfathans riled the animals. By then we caught the trick, so the captain bade the farmer's family stay within. Ah, the shelter folk. Hunters and kempers bred. We drank it that farm blood. I only lived because of that farmer. I think we both conned that we brought the trouble upon them with our presence. The pine bothered me little in mine youth. Yet with age, The old wounds show new depth. I ranged for years seeking a balm for the growing pain. Drink helped for a time. Aye. Thank you for listening. Few day. Lest there's anything you need. Please, let me to mine water. It teases me. I fet glory were need. When we see in the glan fathen. Lest there's it is. I fet glory were need to be. Aye. To when we are to see in the glan fathen. We I think we both abide yet with age. The old. Nay. Life is the pallid nights alone to tack. Lest there's anything you need. It is. I feck glory were need. When we see the glan. I think we both caught a pint yet with age. The old wounds show new. Maybe. Lest there's anything.
Would you care to enjoy the bath's offerings?
Is this your first time to the baths? A bed, perhaps? I might have the skin and bones of a retired scarecrow, but the waters bring youth back, where it counts. If only we had a bit of privacy. Maybe in another life, eh? Couldn't stay away, could you?
It just seems like it was empty.
Welcome, welcome. I am Ganor, owner and proprietor of the Luminous Bathhouse. If there's any way I might make your visit more comfortable, you need only ask. Your exchange with Amrio was observed. Such behavior is my responsibility. I've tripled his rates until he learns to conduct himself. Ah, the new attendant. I believe she's cleaning one of the rooms upstairs. What can I do for you?
Farewell.
Lessons.
I have a new stable boy in my employ.
You and I, we have a mutual friend, do we not? Good, good. A Royal Deadfire operative, Quarno, and his Principi associate, Tola, will meet tonight to discuss the details of business arrangement. They have bought out the entire first floor for privacy's sake. Even Gunnar, their proprietor, will excuse himself. Only bathhouse attendants will be allowed to remain to ensure their comfort. You understand? I will disguise you as a bathhouse attendant, so you might observe their meeting. With luck and some cunning, you may be able to discover the details of their special arrangement. You will not be able to take your gear, but do not worry. Should the situation get out of hand, there will be a stash of weapons hidden in one of the changing booths. But I am sure it will not come to that. They will not believe you an attendant if you carry a blade. But do not fear. I would not throw you to the wolves. Remember, Tola is fond of drink, and her tongue flaps loosely when she has had too much of it. He is a snake in the body of a man. Though he is supposedly the Royal Deadfire Company's man, He always seems to be working some deal on the side. I have had dealings with Tolar in the past, and I am certain she will recognize me. Hence why I have requested assistance from Director Castle, though it pains me to do so. Gelarde. Then you will take your disguise, and I shall take your equipment. Ak, take this rice wine as well. Perhaps you will find use of it, eh?
She's a little bit too old for my liking.
If I grow hungry or thirsty, I will call for you. Until such a time, leave me in peace. What reason does an attendant have to speak with me? Who we are is no concern of yours. You are awfully curious for an attendant. Pathetic. Get out of my sight.
Make sure the right place for this.
That's beautiful. Absolutely.
Leave me be. I have no interest in the buzzing of gnats. Leave me be. I have no interest in the buzzing of gnats.
Ah, what timing. Lounging in all this water's making me thirsty. Are you new? It's probably the wine. That's because I am. I'm no queen of Neketaka, but I do all right. I captain a ship for the Principe, and the big grouchy guy back there, Quano, works for the Royal Deadfire Company. Sometimes, when he's not doing stuff on the sides. Doing stuff like selling me cannons. That's what we're celebrating. Has anyone ever told you you're great? I'm gonna blow up some Valian trading company ships and take their luminous Ardra. My large friend and I are celebrating a business transaction. But I can't say anymore. No, I've already had too much.
Report to Director Castle once you've learned what you can.
Oh, now I've dreamed of this place.
I dare you to go inside.
No! Tangaloho will eat me!
Here's where I do the ritual. Right there under the statue of Gon.
Not a problem.
Blessing of Aethys upon you.
Well, hey. Tell me what's on your mind. They're there in my head when I sleep. And sometimes I can taste them on the back of my but the others toughened, turned survivors. Doesn't it? Whether that's how after that, the 12. It's tradition for the youngest. Of course, mostly I learned. I guess and it's not like night and death or bad thing. No need to fiddle-foot around. It's time I got.
Can do.
Uh-huh.
May Aethys' light shine upon you.
Already on it.
Blessing of Aethys upon you.
Consider it done.
I hear you. Nothing like a homecoming to make a girl remember her roots, even if they are dried up and half dead. Sometimes I wonder if my brethren don't think I got black ichor running in my veins. Why are you so fine to me, Watcher? Makes me think untoward thing. I can't risk straying when I got a duty to gone. All right. Yeah, I'm ready. Don't know if I feel cleaner, but I feel something. Blessed, for sure. Let's just hope it lasts. 'Cause my lantern feels as heavy as ever. Full to brimming with essence. Like dark water spilling over my mind. I was born to reap souls and lead them to the light. Now with Aethys dead, and these dire visions, I think I need to shield them from a hell gone dark. But the more I gather, the more my mind turns to tatters. God knows I'm trying. It ain't so easy. You could help. Give me a holler when a lost soul is near. Why do you think the god of rebirth held an aspect of death within him? You can't have life without dying. There ain't no beginning without a prior ending. Ain't no day without night. No spring without fall. You can't grow crops if you never harvest for seeds. Aethys is dead. And gone is the death before life. He's the ripeness before the fall. That lumbering hunk of Audra might claim to be Aethys, but that doesn't matter a whit. He died, so he can't be Aethys anymore. Death changes every soul, even a god's. And if it doesn't, it should. All right, I'll be right behind you. What can I do you for? Reckon that's the first time I ever bore witness to my own demise. It was not pretty. Never woke with such a driving need for reaping before. It's making my hands shake. It did for a while, but then it wore off. All this essence I've gathered. It soaked the blessing right up. Left me with hardly none. Oh, I plan to. Gone chose me as a harbinger for the coming harvest. Not anyone else here, but me. Seems the more souls I gather, the better I see Gone's will. And the less I get a wink of sleep. Night or day, sleep or waking. It's getting harder to tell what's real from what's just yet to come. There is something I'm meant to do, though. Once I gather enough souls. Us Gonites, we're supposed to shepherd lost souls, not just gather them. The harvesting's only the first part. If I were to dump the souls, it might make me dream less, like before. Or, darn it, who knows? Maybe it'd just make it all worse. Either way, I've got to find my purpose. Will you help me, Watcher? I was hoping you might would. Sometimes I feel like, with you by my side, I can stand against gods. It'll need to be a potent source to overpower the draw of my lantern. It's gotta be luminous, for sure. That's one problem solved. But what about the itty-bitty issue regarding the god of rebirth not actually being in hell? The souls will make it safely, but who's to see to their proper reseeding? This is a huge risk of Aora's balance. You really trust Malgrin not to rebirth Aethasians as warriors of the flame? Think Galawain won't be greedy? Gone aside, the god's past actions don't instill me with the greatest confidence. I think my duty to Gone's a little more important than my personal comfort, don't you? I can't just abandon my souls, not to mention my principles and hope for the best. I don't know. They can't be aware, surely. Keep holding them? Until when? You think I should keep reaping? The souls would be safe in the lantern until the world's ready to bloom again. But I wonder, how many would be alive to see to it then? Let me dream on it and see how I feel.